Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, The Righteous Talk TV, where we talk about lifestyle, faith, finances, basically everything, but applying like a spiritual aspect to it. So I have a confession. It took me forever to make this video because shame, pride, just everything was just stopping me from making this video. Mostly shame. And I just want to openly tell you guys that I backslid for months. So do you guys remember that video? I posted right here somewhere where I told you guys why I stopped smoking weed, or you know what God did for me and how he delivered me. Yeah, I fell right back into it. I fell so hard, and I've been so depressed, not even so depressed, but mainly just shameful, and I just felt like a hypocrite to the point where I deleted that video off of my feed. Like right now it's not even on TikTok, like it's hidden. That's how much of a hypocrite I felt like. You know, even though it was impacting so much people, the shame and the pride, I just couldn't sit with myself. And I was just like, man, God, I reversed every single thing that you delivered me from. And that was because I was not consistently filling myself up with the word of God, or making myself be in a community where it can strengthen me, right? The Bible warns us that once an evil spirit is casted out, it's restless. It looks for some place to go, right? And it often returns back to the person that it came from. And when it returns, it brings 7 other spirits with it. And the person is left off in a worse condition. And that's exactly what happened to me, man. Like, I was so prideful. I was like, 1 or 2 hits wouldn't hurt me. I'm not gonna fall back into sin. I'm not gonna be addicted again. I'm not gonna be bound by this thing again that God has set me free from. And I was totally wrong, right? Man, it held me back for months. And I was just like, I used to go to bed like, really again? Like, why? You know? And I just wanna tell you guys, 1 leak can sink a whole ship. 1 little flirt here and there can keep you in a relationship for 10 plus years. 1 little smoke can leave you addicted for years. 1 little lie can have you lie for the rest of your life, you know? So 1 leak can literally sink a ship. It's important to guard our hearts, right? I was so shameful. I was disappointed. I felt like I was a hypocrite. You know, mockers, people would be like, oh, you know, God didn't really do nothing in her. You know, people that don't know God, they'll be like, oh, she was pretending the whole time. I'm like, no, God has really set me free, but my actions didn't show it. So I just wanted to make a video on what you should do when you find yourself going backwards. When God has brought you out of something, sometimes you just tend to go backwards, you know? So usually sin, when you are dealing with something, with some type of sin or whatever your struggle is, when you go back to it, it doesn't start off big. Like, when God delivered me, I wasn't, and I backslid, I wasn't smoking every day. I would smoke once a week, once every 2 weeks, once every 4 days. You know, it starts off small. It starts off small, right? And that's why we have to pay attention. We have to be intentional about our actions, because a sure way to hell is a nice, easy cruise. One that doesn't have too many bumps. One that you're just on cruise control, not focusing, not being intentional. You're just going with the flow, right? So that's how it was when I backslid. I was just like on cruise control. I was like, okay, this is only 1 time. I'll ask for forgiveness later. I know y'all righteous people never done that, but I know I have. I've abused God's grace before, you know. So it started off small. Once every 2 weeks, then once a week, then once every 4 days, then once every 3 days, right? It starts out very small. So at the time, a short little story, at the time I had a coworker that, a new coworker that came in, and she was like, I own a dispensary, and she was just telling me everything about it and blah, 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 blah. And this is after I uploaded my video and I was set free. And a part of me was like, dang, like she owns a dispensary. Okay, cool. I remember when I went to Cali, that weed was fire. So randomly, she was like, do you want to come over? We can smoke. Me not being intentional, I'm like, yeah. So that's really how it started. Just remember, the enemy, not saying that the enemy sent her, but what I'm saying is the enemy will send little traps to kind of test you, to kind of see where you are, right? And I fell. I fell for months. I fell, right? Could have just been like, no, I'm good. But no, my own desires in me wanted to smoke. Because I wasn't consistently filling myself up, it was easier for me to smoke, right? So I just want to say, sin is a slippery slope. Once you let one thing in, it's almost downhill, right? Like I said, one leak can sink an entire ship. We really have to guard our hearts, guys. Like we really have to guard our hearts, because without that, man, it's downhill. The enemy is coming for us, and he is trying, he's trying to keep us down. So this is a scripture. So it says, this is Matthew 12 verse 43. When an evil spirit leaves a person, it goes into the desert seeking rest, but finding none. Then it says, I'll return to the place I came from. So it returns and finds its former home empty, swept, and in order. Then the spirit finds 7 other spirits more evil than itself, and they all enter the person and live there. And so that person is worse off than before. That would be the experience of this evil generation. So, like I said, that is the dangers of being delivered and backsliding. I was worse off than when I first started. I gained so much weight. It was horrible. You cannot be lenient towards sin. You cannot flirt with sin. You cannot say, God gonna forgive me tomorrow. You can't even, you have to shun the very appearance of evil. And like, I see why the Bible has certain stuff in it, because it's really there to protect us. You only understand the turmoil or the shame that I was dealing with after I got delivered and just going back into sin. It was horrible. Like sometimes I couldn't even sleep at night. Like I would just cry to God, like, wow, like I'm a hypocrite. And I went and I was like, since I already fell, I'm gonna keep going, which is a terrible mindset. You should definitely go to God. That's why Jesus died. So we can go to him in our weakness, so we can go to him in our sin, Man, those months with an S, because it wasn't only just 1 month, I'm gonna be real with y'all, was horrible. I felt like I couldn't even receive anything from God because of my sin and what I entertained. It's dangerous. So I said just now that you should not be lenient with sin. Leniency happens when we fear judgment. Like when you do that little slap on the wrist to yourself, oh, God gonna forgive me. I can do this once. We cannot be lenient with sin. Because the reason why we're doing that to ourselves is because we don't want God to judge us. And that is the wrong mindset. We seriously cannot be lenient to even anything. Oh, one little flirt, it wouldn't lead to nothing. One night stand wouldn't lead to anything. It's not gonna lead to anything, whatever. I hope I'm speaking to somebody right now, because listen, we have to be practical and real. You never flirted with somebody and sin took you way off course from that one little seed that was planted? Come on now. God was dealing with me. Like, I want a practical way of how to stay set free. And the Lord brought me to Exodus chapter 34, that whole chapter. And basically, Moses was leading the Israelites to a new land. And the Lord instructed Moses to tell the people to destroy everything that's in that land. It was a covenant that God was making with Moses, and he instructed him to destroy every single thing in that land. Don't even leave an altar. Don't even leave a pole. It's said in my Bible. When we make a covenant with God, or when God sets us free from something, we have to destroy every single thing that comes with that sin. In my case, I left lighters around. Those are for candles. I'm at work all day. Why do I need a candle? Oh, the sex toys. Oh, I don't know. It's just there. No, we have to destroy every single thing that is attached to that struggle, to that sin. If that literally means destroying half of your stuff, do it. Because all of those things are little triggers that can trigger you. I even had a hemp lip gloss. It had like a weed logo on it. And I kept it. That alone is a trigger. For me. May not be for you. You know? So there's a reason why the Lord told Moses to tell the Israelites to destroy everything in that land. Because the Lord warns them in Exodus that if you do not destroy everything in that land, it would be a snare to you. You would be so blinded by what they have going on, you forgot the God you serve. So it's super important, and I'm speaking to myself even right now. It's so important to guard our hearts and fill ourselves up with the things of God. It's so important to not be lenient with sin. It's so important to recognize, okay, if I go to this place, yeah, I already know what's gonna happen. If I text back, if I go to the sex store, if I go across the street to Michael House, right? One small leak can set you backwards so long. So that was my confession. I just want to encourage anybody right now. If you have went back to what God freed you from, you're not alone. You're not useless. God can still use you. Right now, I don't even know if this, I'm making the right, right now, I don't even know if I should be making this video. I was like, God, I want to make content, but I backslid so hard. Like, I don't even think I'm worthy enough. But we also have to remember God qualifies us. And he used fools to confound the wise. And God can still use me. God can still use you. And thank God, like, I'm set free now. And I seriously never want to go back. But I just recorded this video to encourage somebody. And I just want to also encourage you to keep on pressing on. Like, don't beat yourself up, because that's what I did a lot, and it led me nowhere. So get ready for God to do something in your life. Just go back to him. Even if it's just, God help me. He hears that. So thank you guys for watching my video. This took a lot. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Thank you guys. Peace out.